Thanks for coming back. I'm Larry Klopot, and this is my podcast. Why am I here and he is not? A father's journey to make sense of loss, love, and hope. I've spent my life as a private person who rarely let people in past the facade of my own personality. Now my life has changed. I've changed. My need to share has changed. June 28th, 2024, 6:15 a.m. Time does keep on keeping on. It's now been 57 days since Alex left us, and the reality of it still seems hard to grasp. It still seems that for much of the time, I am just going through the motions of living life. The last couple of days, the pain of loss have had a sidekick: stress. I'm trying to figure out what triggered this increase in angst and uneasiness in all things. Maybe I spent too much time thinking about everything that is going on and everything that went on before. I don't know if that is the case, but I do know that there has been a load of crap coming at me and coming at Arlene recently. Her angst is my angst, made worse because I can't make it go away for her. The last couple of days also saw mind games being played by me on me. I took many small things and bundled them together to produce a bigger ball of stress and despair. I was told that I needed to give myself a break from feeling that I did not do all I could for Alex in his life and on that day. I love the sentiment and the concern that were behind those words, but I also felt that they were words not grounded in the truth of the last 35 days, and that I will never escape that guilt. I was told in a conversation that it's okay to feel better and move past my sorrow. Again, love the interest that was shown to and for me, but what I heard, which I assume was not the intentional meaning, was go back to living your life as if nothing happened. I falsely began believing that I could reflect on his absence and discuss the second with a degree of distance. Over the past couple of days, I've had lunch with two good friends and proved to me that it is just not the case. The most recent lunch was with a friend who I've not seen since the Shiva. I've always looked forward to catching up with him because we have good talks about each other's lives, and we do it with humor and laughter throughout the conversation. Laughter was present during our meal, but so were the choked back tears when telling him about Alex and his life. For a while now, I've wanted to let few people from the old neighborhood who played a big role in our life when Alex was very young know what happened to him. I finally found the number to one of those friends. Our family spent a lot of time together back in the day, and I felt driven to let them know. I entered the phone number in my phone several times, determined to make the call, but tears came on, and the lump in my throat clearly told me that I would not be able to get through it. I gave up and now feel bad for not connecting with them. I continue to have stress about my business, or what's left of it, exacerbated by my partner missing an important Zoom meeting regarding a potential new project because he slept in. All that with the additional stress I now feel from Arlene's visible unhappiness with her new office. I feel every ounce of that unhappiness in my being. She needs an outlet for her pent-up angst, pain, and anger, and that outlet seems not to be me. I am completely out of sorts, lonely and sad. I try to push through all that to no lasting avail. I am still confused as to the correct answer when people ask me how I'm doing. I get the sense that everyone wants to hear that all is good, but it's not. On the rare occasion when I begin to give a truthful answer, I feel and or see their head beginning to tilt. At that point, I understand that no one wants the real answer and that I don't want to be the burden to them, so I lie and say things are okay. And the movie plays on in my head, featuring no new alternative ending, but with snippets of his short life in it. I owed him more than I gave. Often I have an overwhelming need to write directly to my son. Here's a letter I wrote to him. June 29th, 2024, 8 a.m. I need to tell you. To my dear lost boy, I'm writing this to you, my dear Alex, knowing that I'm just writing this to me. I keep reading stories from parents like us who find peace and comfort from the signs they think are from their child who died. From the depths of my broken soul, I wish I believed that the signs they see are actually signs from beyond. I certainly could use that comfort and peace right now, but I believe that I don't believe, if that makes any sense. I wish I believed it because there are so many things that I want to say to you every single day that I wish you could hear. There are even more things that I wished I said to you when you were alive. When I relive that morning, I wish I said that I loved you instead of being mad at you for doing whatever you did to bring on that paranoid psychotic state. I wish I said no to stopping for that Gatorade, and I wish I said goodbye as you were leaving us. I've asked you every day for the past 58 days why you did what you did that morning. You were so close to having so many great things happen to you. Finally, your music was getting finished. Your relationship with Rita was getting better. And most of all, your daughter was here for you to help raise and nurture. For a while, I was angry that you chose to throw all that away, but I realized that maybe the demons had a stronger hold on you than did the angels. I do know that you wanted desperately to be in Addie's life. I know that you wanted the music videos completed, and I know you wanted a relationship with Rita. Lately, so many people have said to me that I have no reason to feel guilty and that I did everything I could for you throughout your life. Those are just more things that I wish I believed. You and I know the truth. I do want to tell you what a special child you have. I need to tell you that without Addie in our lives, this horrible journey your mother and I are on would not just be harder, it would be impossible. When we are with her, we think of you. When she smiles, we see you. When she reaches up for us to hold her, we feel we are holding you as well. You did good. I've been going through your pictures over and over. I keep doing it because so many of those pictures show you smiling and looking truly happy. Many depict your passion, food, soccer, friends, concerts, women you loved, and your biggest passion, Addie. I look at them and it is comforting to know that you did have so much joy in your life. The pictures also show a bit of the other side of your life and personality, but I don't dwell on those. As we spend more time wading through your stuff, I want to ask you what the hell is up with all the hats, with all the shoes, with all the jeans, with all the jackets, and of course, what the hell is up with all the socks? Giving your hats to family and friends, selling some of your favorite things like the smoker, seeing people with your TFC scarves, trying to figure out what to do with your shoes and clothes is a painful process that is part of you not being here, and one we never imagined we would be going through. But we are going through it, and doing so with respect of what we think you would want. I want to tell you that our hearts are broken and that the pain that comes with it is felt every minute since you left. But I also want to tell you that you will be part of us, felt by us, and loved by us every minute that we have left on this earth. I want to tell you that we will keep talking about you. I want you to know that we will do everything we can for Addie and Rita. I want you to know that you are truly and deeply loved by us and by so many people. I want you to know that we will honor you and your memory. Chat again soon. And then there were those special days that his absence is felt even more. July 1st, 2024, 7 a.m., Canada Day. Between my short spurts of sleep throughout the night, my mind is taken over partially by my own self-pity and sorrow. Yesterday, Arlene told me that I was wallowing in self-imposed pity party. I was offended by that comment for a few minutes until I realized that, as usual, she was right. It was a really bad day overall, not every minute of the day, but for a good part of it. A portion of the day was taken up by our continuing to make progress in the mammoth job of cleaning out the apartment downstairs and selling, giving away, or throwing out so much. As the day went on, I became more and more depressed because it started, foolishly, to feel like we were picking at the bones of Alex. I know we have to do it. I know it's the right thing to do. I know that stuff isn't Alex, it's just stuff. I know that we will eventually move and that space needs to be empty. I know all that, but there are so many things there that when I pick them up or move them, I become overwhelmed with sadness. We brought some of his old hockey equipment to a store that buys that kind of thing. It was close to unbearable because of the years and years of hockey being so much a part of his life and my joy just being there. There are other parts of yesterday that affected me. After feeling very crappy and down all day, we began watching an episode of 60 Minutes. The story was about the trauma in a family that was affected by the father's PTSD. He described seeing buddies killed near him in Afghanistan. That segment was a trigger for me. I left the room shaking and crying. I have felt every second of the second. I felt every emotion from that day. I heard him screaming. I saw him running into traffic. I relived the moment that the paramedic told me his heart stopped. I eventually calmed down, but the depression and sadness took up partial residence in my being for the rest of the evening. Perhaps this is the natural progression of the journey through grief. Over the last few days, I experienced a powerful sense of loneliness, isolation, and abandonment. Perhaps others on this journey have the same sense when the world, including friends and family, live their normal lives as they should, while we live a life far from normal. My inner voice keeps telling me, where the fuck is everyone when I need them? I still have a bit of that in me now, but daylight has brought a more rational internal argument into play. The answer is that everyone is living their lives as they should. My pain is my pain, and I need to respect my own promise that I won't impose that pain on anyone else, and the acknowledgement that their life, thankfully, did not change 60 days ago. I want to live up to that promise, and I don't want to be a weight on Arlene's shoulders as she navigates her own grief path. I will try. I will try. I will try. My thoughts through the night and so far today are not all negative. I did lose myself in the memory of Canada Day 2017. I remember the conversation earlier in 2017 that I had with Alex, but when I was on Capitol Hill in Ottawa for the 100th anniversary of Confederation. He insisted we all go to the 150th celebration there. 7 years ago today, we were all in Ottawa partying the night away with the crowd who also came to celebrate Canada. I have to push back the reality that he is not here to talk to about that day, but I am grateful that we have that memory. I fear, still, for our future. So many things trigger momentary, deep, deep sadness. So many waves crash into me every day bringing the same deep sadness. So many times I choke up when I talk about Alex, and so much of the time I feel anger at the world. My belief that we are paying the price for something we did or didn't do is strengthening. Maybe this is just cosmic validation of the enormity of our loss. Maybe it gets incrementally better over time. But later today, we will see and hug and fuss over Alex's perfect daughter and our perfect granddaughter. For that, I am very grateful. July 2nd, 2024. Anger and sorrow. A new month begins with little optimism that it will be better than the last 2 months. This past weekend was one of the toughest to get through since that day. During our walk last night, Arlene and I talked about how, with time passing, our lives seem to be more and more difficult emotionally. When I read other people's accounts of their grief journey after losing a child, I see that we're not unique, but that offers little comfort. I read about some parents who have been unable to move on even after years of living with the painful loss. At this point in my life, I don't see how that would not be the case for me. I hope with all my being that won't be the case for Arlene. Over the last several days, with the exception of the time we spent at Rita's hugging beautiful Addie, who was a little bit under the weather, tears and that familiar lump in my throat were so close that a minor word or sight or remembrance brought them out. Maybe it was because the Canada Day weekend was another time that Alex was so into. It was another opportunity to have fireworks in our backyard, have his friends over for a barbecue, another excuse to party. Maybe it was that omnipresent feeling of being alone. Maybe it is just the new way of living a sorrow-filled life. Maybe it will not always be the case. There have been times in my life that I recognize that I need help in addressing and coping with things from my childhood. I've always known that my insecurities, my inadequacies, and my reserved persona needed to be confronted. I knew I needed to reach out, but rarely did. Now I know that all of those parts of me, with the added profound loss of my child and loss of my purpose in life, needs to be exposed and dealt with. I am just now not sure how. I will hopefully find a way with Arlene's help. After our visit with Rita and Addie, we decided to drive to the house of a family we were very close to many years ago. Our sons played hockey together and we became fast friends. I have strongly felt the need to tell them about Alex for weeks now. We finally took the step, hoping that they still lived in the same house. They do. As difficult as it was to get the words out that Alex was no longer in this world, and with tears flowing, it did feel right, and it did bring out the closeness we once enjoyed with that family. The blanket of familiarity and the warmth was still there. It was a sad but reassuring visit. There were and will be times that my sorrow gets heightened by my anger at the world, at the situation, at Alex being cheated out of living his dream of being a dad, at me being cheated out of my watching him being a dad, at the life Addie faces without her dad. Those times are the hardest to get through. I am, though, working at not being angry anymore. July 4th, 2024. The Unwanted Club. Waking up in the morning now as the days turn into weeks and months is definitely different. Sleep is just as fitful and morning tiredness is the same, but now I do wake up knowing that the silence I hear is because he is gone. No more minor seconds of hearing a creak or a noise outside thinking, great, he's home. The crash to reality after that was hard and intensely sorrowful. Now I wake up with the same sorrow knowing he is gone forever. It is intense, but without those moments of reprieve. A new but oddly familiar phenomenon is visiting me occasionally now. We have pictures all over the fridge of Alex, Addie, and Rita, which is very reassuring for me to see, as they are confirmation that he was here, and heartbreaking because they are the stark reminder that he is not. Several times lately, as I walk through the kitchen and my eye catches a picture of him with a big smile, holding Addie so proudly, that split second when my brain plays tricks on me, thinking he's alive, and that was previously reserved for the morning, comes over me. It lasts less than a step, but it just seems so real. Is that progress on the journey? I have no idea. Every day, every step, every moment of that journey I don't want to be on still feels new and very often difficult to comprehend. The strangeness of life now is that there is the ever-present void. The feeling that I will choke up and cry is always so close to the surface. It can show itself in almost any situation. I could be talking about Alex and his hats or his shoes or anything else to one person with objectivity, but I can't get the same words out to someone else without the tears welling up. I could walk to the office one day with happy thoughts, memories, and dare I say, without painfully obsessing over his absence from my life. But the next time I head that way, it seems that the movie is back in full force. Tears again flow freely. A couple of days ago, I experienced one of the most frightening flashbacks I've had since the second. There must have been a trigger, but I can't figure out what it was. I was sitting on my couch one second and then transported back to that day the next. I was now standing behind the ambulance, hearing and seeing things no father should ever hear or see. I'm not sure how long I was in the flashback trance, but it took quite a while to stop shaking and to slow my heart down when I came back to the present. Often when I'm doing something normal, or at least something that is unrelated to now being a childless father, part of me feels the guilt of doing that because it's not focused on him. That feeling of guilt in those circumstances pales in comparison to the guilt I feel when I'm doing something that is Alex-focused. Everything I have read, everything I've heard over the past 63 days tells me that while everyone's grief journey is different, they are in many ways the same. Grief is a companion forever. It is hard to escape from and it's hard to live with. Good memories offer warm solace, but also bring deep pain. Familiar things can evoke a sense of happiness, but also a sense of emptiness. The club of parents who have lost a child has a very cruel initiation and a lifetime of roller coaster emotions written into its charter.